we've been liaising with the ACCC in relation to their stevedore monitoring reports for many years, but since December 2019, we've been working with them on shipping competition reforms. So we look forward to hearing the further details of the scope of the review, but it's a very good signal.
So the most expensive route, Shanghai to Rotterdam in Europe, so that has gone up by 564% over the past year. Now the shippers are being slugged more than $14,000 a container. Now the rates to Australia aren't as high, but they've more than doubled, as you mentioned, 3 times increased in some cases. So how are importers and exporters coping with these costs?
Again, to varying degrees. So the importers, obviously, that's going to lead to some inflationary costs here that we'll see probably, at the shelves. Exporters, it's a very different situation again. So they're really in a fortunate position at the moment. They've got a bumper crop, and the Northern Hemisphere is struggling with adverse conditions. So that's rescuing our exporters to a degree, but that's only going to be short-lived. If we get a situation there where things change, the Northern Hemisphere grain and other produce comes back to normal conditions, well, then Australian exporters just won't be able to compete on an international stage. And as you were saying, the high freight rates that are existing in other parts of the world is making it increasingly attractive for shipping lines to put their limited resources to service that lucrative market. So, Australia is under a fair bit of scrutiny and potential problems here. We need the shipping lines to keep servicing Australia, but at the same time, not at any cost. And this is where we do welcome the ACCC and the broader federal government just looking at shipping operations.
Now, you mentioned there the price increases. We have been looking at those. We all are seeing rises at the shops, seeing shortages of things like computer parts, modems, bicycle parts. Now, you want to see a regulator, a national regulator, that's also supported by the Transport Workers Union. What difference would that make?
Yeah, look, again, whether the federal regulator is the right thing or not, we're not sure. All we know is we need a change. So at the moment, the Competition and Consumer Act has a provision in there that gives shipping lines an exemption from normal competition law. So for us, it's one of two things either has to happen. Either remove that protection that the international shipping lines have got and let them compete openly like every other business does in Australian commerce. Or if the federal government still believes that there is a need for protection for these international shipping lines, that's where we do see that some type of federal regulator, federal maritime regulator, would be appropriate to oversee that activity and just make sure there is a level of protection to Australian shippers. So something needs to change, and the government needs to get off the fence here and make a decision one way or another which way they're going to respond to this.